Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Killjoy Cult channel. So today I want to go ahead and be covering a few topics here. First off, shout out to Lizard Lord 31, the dude who's I'm fighting first. He was really cool. I ended up talking to him a little bit after the match. He wanted to be in the video, so I went ahead and put him as a first match. And if you're watching this, dude, comment down below. Be cool to hear from you again. But anyway, I want to go ahead and start off by talking about Shugoki and why he seems to be so salt-inducing and triggering to people. And I think I pretty much already know why, and I'm pretty sure everyone else does. It's his hyper armor. Well, not necessarily. I don't think that's what really pisses people off so much about him. There are a lot of other characters in the game that have hyper armor, especially on a lot of different movesets. No one has passive hyper armor like Shugoki does, but that's sort of Shugoki's niche. And I feel like every character needs one. Like, Gladiator has, really badass deflex, a very cool fighting style, very stamina intensive. Zerker can feint anything into everything with everything and, always have hyper armor. You've got other characters like, Conqueror, who is meant to be like this really heavy-hitting flail, defensive character who they turned into an absolute monster with his rework. Valkyrie, who was meant to be sort of like this pokey bitch, and they definitely did a good job on that with her rework. My god, did they. But every character has a niche in the game, and Shugoki's is his hyper armor. And it was kind of his ability to heal with Demon's Embrace before Shaman came along and got the ability to heal as well. But Demon's Embrace is a very risk versus reward style of move, which it's really fun to pull off. But if you guys go through and watch this video, you guys will see where it can definitely fuck up. But I want to talk about why the main reason he just kind of pisses people off. And I think the main reason why is because of, well, his Demon's Embrace most of the time. Pretty much every Shugoki main who, is in high-level play, well, most of the time you'll see them camp near walls. And there's a good couple of reasons for that. One is because the wall is the biggest part of Shugoki's kit. After 31 reputations in Shugoki, that's one of the biggest things I've come to find out. Walls are, in fact, his just a massive bulk of his kit. And if you don't utilize walls, then you're really handicapping yourself with how you can win. Now, it's a part of the game that he has to utilize. It's the only way he can get a Demon's Embrace confirmed, or even a normal heavy attack confirmed. He doesn't have an opener that confirms either one, or anything such as that. And, it can be very risky to outplay people whenever there's no walls around, or if they refuse to come near walls. That's where Shugoki kind of takes into the patience game. The main reason people seem to really hate the character as well as people who play him is patience and the ability to take away any progress you've done. You see, whenever fighting Shugoki, if they manage to get that guard break and throw you into a wall, or even just pull off a Demon's Embrace randomly while you're mid-combo, or, mid-recovery for some reason, if you make that mistake to get Demon's Embrace by a Shugoki, then a lot of the progress you've lost, it's unbearable sometimes. It can really piss you off. And I'm definitely the first one to experience that firsthand for sure. Especially in like Shugoki 1v1s, because they can last forever if both Shugokis know what they're doing. One, because they have to turtle, and two, because they have to rely on Demon's Embrace so much to get the edge over the other person. But take a look at how much health Shugoki gains from a Demon's Embrace, and it's quite a bit. He's gaining it back, around 1/4 to 1/5 of his health every time he gains one, and that can be absolutely devastating mid-fight, that is for sure. It completely stops the tide of the fight because of how long the animation is, the throwing on the back break, then throwing down on the ground, and God forbid it's in a gank situation, because it's kind of similar to Raider's Stampede Charge. But if you get hit by a Shugoki's back break, then, it's over for you, especially if everyone's around you. Even if you're in Revenge, Shugoki doesn't bounce off of Revenge, he goes straight through it even if you're mid-move. And right now, you land Demon's Embrace, everyone in your team's going to start swinging on that dude, and that's just a free win for you, man. And I feel like that's the biggest trick of Shugoki's kit, is that Demon's Embrace. And in gank situations, he is absolute hell. But when he's 1-to-1, as I said, he doesn't have an opener, and that's where I feel most people get upset about him, or maybe in Brawl as well. But I'm going to say duels is where a lot of the rage really comes in, or in 1-to-1 situations anyway. And the main reason why is because go and look at how much rage mail I've gotten in the past. 90% of it I would say is because I'm playing Shugoki. There are rare cases where, you know, that might not be the case, might just be because I ganked in a brawl, but a lot of it's just because I play Shugoki and a lot of people call him a cheesy character. Well, it's not really a cheesy character, it's just he has to utilize his kit just like every other character in the game. And in order to do that, you have to sit near walls. You have to be very patient. You have to capitalize on the mistakes of your opponent. If your opponent doesn't make any mistakes, then Shugoki is virtually useless. But if you have an opponent that likes to swing randomly or violently, like that right there, like you just saw with this Raider doing a stunning tap randomly against a Shugoki, or even throwing that zone, you know, I was able to get so much punishment just off of 2 moves alone. And then right there again, he threw a light attack, which confirms a free guard break. Once again, all of his progress was lost almost instantaneously. The moment he started making mistakes, that was the time I won the fight. If you're impatient against a Shugoki, or you're an impatient person in general, chances are you're probably going to rage against this character. And that's just how it is. He gets all the progress in the entire fight and throws it out of the window and pretty much just keeps going and pushing you like a truck. And if and when his rework ever comes, I hope they don't nerf Demon's Embrace, but I hope they give him something simple, just like an opener, and maybe take away the 25% extra damage. I feel like if he had an opener, he wouldn't have to turtle or rely on walls as much. And, you know, just something simple, maybe an unblockable little belly bump that confirms like a special light attack. Talked about that in one of my other videos regarding a Shugoki rework. If you guys are interested in that, just simply type in Killjoy Roger Shugoki rework, and it'll pop up with all my ideas and whatnot that I wanted for Shugoki rework, because I think he would be a really fun character to play if he was able to have an opener, and I feel like that would make him at least a little bit more viable in high tier play, especially if they get rid of the 25% extra damage on his hyper armor when it's gone. I feel like that would be the best way to kind of resolve the issue of him being a character that just pisses people off so much. And if they gave him the opener, maybe even just nerf Demon's Embrace a little bit, if it's too much for people to keep complaining about. You know, take away just a small portion of the health you get back, or even make it do a slight little bit less damage. But I hope that doesn't happen because, you know, once again, he'll be basically in the same place he is now, where he's next to useless because you're taking away a massive part of his kit. And I know that's one thing the developers bitched about a lot, is how much of his kit he's kind of missing right now. You know, he doesn't have a whole lot to really work with in regards to a rework or anything like that, and that's kind of where they're stuck at. They can either fix the hyper armor, or they can just buff him slightly. They can take away the hyper armor, make him really dependent on other things, and give him a whole new moveset, or, you know, give him an opener and call it a day. And I'm kind of hoping they just give him an opener and call it a day, to be honest. Shugoki is a really unorthodox character, and I feel like that's kind of another thing that really upsets people. You see, Shugoki has such a strange playstyle compared to the rest of the roster, because he has to be patient. He has to be slow. He has to be, you know, willing to fight your opponent close quarters, next to walls, and wait. If you're not patient as Shugoki, 9 times out of 10 you won't win. And I understand that there are videos out there of aggressive Shugoki montages and whatnot. Well, there's a reason they're out there, is because Shugoki isn't meant to be an aggressive character. Look at how Shugoki is played pretty much every time, versus how he was played in Season 1. Back in Season 1, an aggressive Shugoki could hands down beat damn near anyone, because Charge of the Oni used to knock people down and confirm a free heavy attack. Now that that's no longer the case, he's kind of stuck, and I feel like they just kept nerfing him over and over without any consolation at how good he actually wasn't. And I feel like that's his biggest issue. You nerfed a character that was complained about so much, kind of similar to Centurion in a way. Look at how Centurion is played currently versus how he was back when he was first released. When he was first released, he was an aggressive killing machine with next to no concern for anyone's morality or anything similar. He would just charge at you like a fucking tank and non-stop try to kill you. But then, after he got nerfed, they took away some of his health, they took away a lot of his punishes, they took away so much out of Centurion, and now Centurion, the only thing he really has that's super viable is his ability to turtle and cutscene people. And that's kind of where they left Shugoki at. His ability to turtle and somewhat cutscene people. You see, Centurion did get a buff after a long time of him, getting nerfed, but Shugoki's never had anything like that. The only buff Shugoki ever got was the ability to Demon's Embrace someone through their revenge, and hell, that's not really even that big of a deal. Most people just Demon's Embrace whenever the opponent is not doing anything anyway instead of throwing attacks. So I don't really see that, that much of a massive problem with it. But with how Shugoki is really played in the meta, the problem is he's not. And that's where a lot of people kind of goof up. And I feel like that's why Ubisoft isn't paying him any attention. You don't have any massive YouTubers who are out here who really mess with Shugoki that much. You don't have anyone spreading the word saying, hey, Shugoki desperately needs a rework, please give it to him. He's annoying everyone. He's pissing everyone off. The only reason that people even play him is because, they have to... Hell, I don't even know. The only reason people even play him is because, you rely so much on unorthodox playstyles. His Demon's Embrace, his Hyper Armor, his extremely slow poised heavies, his light into headbutt and heavy into headbutt, and just overall strange playstyle that he has. That's all he has going for him. And if he doesn't have that, then he's virtually nothing. Hell, he's practically not even a For Honor fighter at this point. He's just kind of a bonus character that they just kind of threw in for no reason. Look at him compared to the rest of the roster, you'll see his moveset is about half of everyone else's. He has barely any combos that I could name off in about a minute, and overall, he's just a bad character in general. In 4v4s, I can honestly say that he can put in some work for sure in gank situations, and even anti-gank situations if you can manage to get revenge. But even then, if one of them can get your Hyper Armor down, they're doing 25% extra damage the entire time you're in revenge or out of revenge. And that's just not worth it at all. When you have people who aren't patient enough in the 1v1 and 2v2 scene, who want to, use cheap tactics or, try to just get you out altogether, you'll always see them start playing super aggressive and super careless and making mistakes. And that's where, once again, Shugoki can capitalize on and really piss people off. You'll see people like this Kensei here who in the second round, you guys will see something pretty funny. You see, in this round right here, this is a perfect example of how Shugoki can really, I guess, annoy someone. You see, immediately, I didn't want to go down to the hazards, because, well, there's a problem. If I get hazarded into that fire, then I'm going to have a massive problem. One, my Hyper Armor is going to be all fucked up, and two, I'm going to be taking extra damage from all of his hits while my Hyper Armor is messed up from the hazard. So, what I did is I walked up here where there's no hazards, and I'm surrounded by walls. Now, as you can see, this Kensei, he likes to stay backwards, he likes to just constantly keep walking back. He wants me to attack him out in the open, but as you can clearly tell, I'm not really going to go for that. And once I see him make mistakes, for example, when he threw that zone, I thought it was a light attack, so I was going to go for a guard break right afterwards, and things of that nature. If he goes for a light attack, I can get a free guard break if I time it just right, even if he tries to go for a second one. And even when, I'm up here, near all these walls, you'll see he's constantly going back, and right there I tried to throw a charge heavy because I thought I might be able to get it if I was careful with his zone timing. But you'll see here that I still managed to pull the first win out because, well, he's being careless again. Right there, he threw one of the most telegraphed attacks in all of For Honor. He went for a dodge heavy. Now, I could have parried it or I could have gotten a light headbutt, and I chose a light headbutt. And from there, it was just, me manipulating him into what I needed him to do so I could just confirm the win. This round right here is where things got kind of funny to me, because you'll see what I'm obviously trying to do, and I did in the first round, which is where I used walls to my advantage. I walk immediately over to a wall where I know I can get the win condition away from him and take it into my own. You see, the wall, once again, is a big part of Shugoki's kit, which is really unorthodox because you really don't see anyone else focus on using a wall so much, other than maybe Centurion. I know some Centurions are kind of obsessed with camping walls, but Shugoki really isn't. And as you can tell there, I ran straight through him. I even let him get the hit just so I could get to the wall behind him, just to see if I can kind of bait him into coming to this wall, instead of him staying back the entire time. Of which you'll see him just get up, walk away, and decide to probably unplug his Ethernet cable or power cord because, you know, that's just how this game's meant to be played, right? Well, hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts on this game and why Shugoki pisses people off so much. If you guys did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I love you guys, and as always, have a good night. Peace, guys.